Okay, welcome to another episode of our project analysis, and today we have Kayla here with us. We're going to talk about a brand new project, but before we move on to that, if you like our channel, you like our content, just please remember to help us like and subscribe and comment any questions that you may have in the comment section down below. Okay, so without much further ado, let's introduce to everyone our new project,
Arina East
Residences in Katong. Okay, it shows that it's in Katong. So you know that this project we're going to talk about is in the Prime District 15 of Singapore. Okay, and it's actually an en bloc project.
Correct. So this used to be the old La Ville. Okay, and right now, just within 300 meter, we do get a MRT, which is Katong Park MRT, which is under the Thomson-East Coast Line.
Okay, we take a look at the project details. Developer will be ZACD.
It is also a joint venture, so there are also a few players, Frexter Singapore and Welltech Private Limited. Okay, it is a freehold project, and actually within this whole Tanjong Rhu cluster, it is a lot of freehold itself. We do have from 1 bedroom type to all the way to 4 bedroom itself, with a total of 107 residential units. For the car parks itself, it is actually 80% of the residential units because of the current close proximity to the MRT itself.
Projects these days, if you are actually within the vicinity of the MRT station, actually it's part of the URA ruling that the car park shouldn't be 100% lah, because having the MRT nearby, it really helps you to ease your commute and your convenience and stuff like that. Exactly. So 80% should be more than enough, because most of the time it will be tenanted out.
Yes.
Tenants don't drive. I think definitely for your own stay, you still have enough parking lots.
Correct. And of course, this is a 2 blocks of 20 stories unit. And then with this, the expected TOP date, it is looking around like in 3 years' time, which is 2028.
But what's important is also about the developer who will be building this up, this project. ZACD is actually a
listed company.
Yes, in Hong Kong Exchange.
Yes.
Okay, and together with it is a JV, joint venture with Frexter Singapore as well as Welltech. Okay, so more about the developer, some of the things that they have done, I think
the latest one that we are probably going to see, it is the Landmark. Right? This is actually at Chin Swee Road, nearer to the town area too.
Yeah. I think Jadescape also by them. And also upcoming, we have some of the ECs as well as La Ville, which is what we're talking about today, the Arina East. Okay, so moving on, the unit mix.
Okay, so just now I do mention that within this 107 units, there are 1 to 4 bedder, but we can tell that from the proportion itself, it is leaning towards the smaller unit type. So when we say smaller, 1 to 2 bedder, because it takes up slightly over 50% of the ratio for these smaller units. For the 3 and the 4 bedders, there is also, because of the growing demand of like family requirements, so 3 and 4 are definitely there. But like I say, this one we will definitely focus more on the 1 and 2 bedders itself.
Yep. So probably a little bit more of a
investor mindset, because 1, 2 bedders easier to rent out, and also the close proximity MRT as well as to CBD.
Yes, I think that would be perfect for investors. Okay, so as we talk about that, in terms of location, as we mentioned, this is actually in the District 15 at the Katong area, slightly towards the Tanjong Rhu side. Okay, and because we are familiar with this area, we know that the proximity to the CBD area, town area, is actually very, very near. Alright, in fact, we do have some of the major transformation coming up. For example, the whole Marina Bay, Marina East, there's going to be a whole new township coming up. Alright, and then all the way down to the East Coast part, we also have new townships in the Bayshore area. So the eastern part of Singapore, I would say that upcoming is going to be very exciting. There's a lot of projects. Development
definitely. And also, this is also the reason why TEL line has been just recently constructed. So if they were to reconstruct into this whole line, I'm sure there are a lot of upcoming events.
Yep.
Right?
Actually, our government is very smart. They make sure that the infrastructure is ready. So TEL is ready. Now we start to see in a lot of residential coming in. So if you are looking at buying into a property, look at the kind of transformation, look at what government is planning to do, right? Of course, to share with you more today, is all about Arina East, but if you like to know more, contact any one of us and we can share with you how to spot the right project using the transformation plan of Singapore. Okay, zooming down further into the location map, the former La Ville is here, which Arina is going to come up with. Surrounding it, I think we got quite a few few older freehold projects.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And also HDB estates over here, which also means that you got better amenities because we got a food market here. I think we got some amenities like clinics, Sheng Siong and things like that over there.
Yeah, those HDB shop houses. And not forgetting as well as the MRT
Yes.
and the Katong Park. So for those who actually have dogs, you know, you can actually bring over to this Katong Park. There is a doggy run thereabouts, as well as our
East Coast Park.
East Coast Park. Yeah.
Yes.
So this park could also link you all the way to Siglap. It could also link you all the way to MBS. So for those who likes to have like nature walks, run, you know, this is the perfect place for you.
Yeah, that's right. And also talking about schools, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of
Primary school near
within 1 km, we don't have.
Correct.
1 to 2 km, I think we got Guanghua and all.
Guanghua, yes.
Okay, but we talk about preschool, we got Eaton House, we got even the Odyssey Global preschool.
Yes.
Okay,
Of
and
course,
then
the Diamond High.
this one is the very good secondary school lah.
For sure. But not forgetting, we still have like other schools such as like Broderick Secondary. Yeah, and also one of those.
So I think it's a little pity we don't have some primary school.
But also because I think this entire area, it is rather mature. So I would say most of the people, they could already, you know, the kids are already in secondary schools. So this might not be as important.
Right.
Having the MRT might be important because
Yes.
the kids can be like, you know, at Tanjong Katong, the Tanjong or like Nian, or even like CHIJ, or like, you know, further down the road. So I think even like JCs, VJCs, Temasek JC, with the help of this MRT, this actually play a very big role.
Yep. So maybe some of you are concerned whether good schools or having schools within 1 km will actually help in terms of the appreciation of the property value. So maybe in future other episode we can run through some of the deeper analysis on that. But for now, let's come back to Arina East and take a look at what's in the surrounding. As I mentioned earlier on, we got some of the older projects around the area. The newest one was actually launched about 14 years ago.
Yes, 14 years
in 2012.
ago. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2012.
Okay, so that's the Line and Fulcrum. So we do foresee that there is going to be a pent-up demand in this area, especially when 14 years ago there isn't any MRT station over there.
Yeah.
Right now we got MRT station, we got a park that is ready. I think a lot of demand is going to flux into this area.
Exactly. And also take a look at this chart here. Most of the projects here are of a smaller unit size. So like Emerald is 52, Palazzetto is at 32 units, Crystal Rhu 45, The Centurion 42. Okay, of course, Waterside, it is a huge project back then, 502. Of course, everything in Waterside is very big. So the units is a big floor plate. One Fort Garden, Fulcrum, these are also slightly lesser than 100 units per project. So for Arina, it is actually 107, which kind of stands out a little bit more because number one, you do have more neighbors sharing the maintenance fee. Number two, we can also expect a higher valuation pricing as when this product has gone into the resale
where
market.
more transactions are able to take place because there are more units.
Correct.
In fact, I saw some of the research over there. This Arina is, in terms of the density, is one of the better ones. It's not so dense in the whole area because the land plot big enough and we got about 107 units.
Yeah.
So in terms of density, it's still very, very healthy.
Yes. So I think it's a good mix between having securing a good potential in terms of pricing for resale due to the volume, as well as not being too dense. I think that is a very good sweet spot.
Yep. Okay. So after all the good things that we mentioned, we also want to talk about something not so nice lah. I personally feel that this whole project, it lacks that view that you're gonna get because surrounding are all high buildings.
Yes.
You know, for example, we got a Fort View, we got the Fort Gardens. All these are 15, 16, 21 story even at one fort. Regardless of which facing you're gonna get, you are still gonna see opposite building. That's all. In fact, this direction you actually get the HDB view, which is about 12 story high.
Yeah.
You know, and for the south facing, you don't get any sea view, unfortunately. I mean, if I live in East Coast, I would love to have sea view and such lah. Then again, the price point will be different also.
Yeah, but sea view also do comes with the traffic noise, to be honest.
Yes. Okay, so we do have a very good gauge about maybe 20 to 30 over meters of distance to the next building. At best, about 41 meters to Palazzetto.
Yeah. But I think what I kind of like about here is that even though there is no view, but I do recognize that it is a very, very quiet enclave. Yeah, because most of these projects that you're seeing here, it is mainly just one building alone on its own. So in terms of the noise, in terms of like peripheral visions, I think there are still something that we can consider.
So next up, we're coming to the site plan itself. We are looking at 2 blocks that are over here. Earlier on, we mentioned about Tanjong Rhu Road, the cul-de-sac here. Emerald East is on this side, and we have Palazzetto on this side. So if we zoom in a little bit more, we realize that actually these are what we call point blocks, okay, where there's only 4 units per level, all right? And that is a very good plus point because you get a lot more exclusive privacy as well. And then for this block over here, block 6D, we are only looking at 2 units. Again, it's very, very exclusive. Okay, so in fact, it's a little bit confusing here because certain floor, we actually have different types of layout, which we're going to share with you later. But right now, and the 19th and the 20th floor, these are some of the facilities that we get. We have a lounge area, communal planter area in 1119, as well as 20th story, we have the gym and the sky pool right at the top. So hopefully you still get some good.
So probably, I think at this 1920, most likely you should be able to see a bit pocket views or maybe like fireworks.
No promises. Doesn't come with it. Okay, no promises, but hopefully we will have that. Okay, but if you look at the elevation chart, we realize that again we got 2 blocks over here. Now we are looking at the side section of it. Okay, stack 1 and 2, all these are actually 2-beders.
Yes.
On the stack 3 itself, anything that's above level 9, you actually becomes a 3-bedder compact. Alright, and then of course we have a 1-bedder full stretch at stack 4. Then we move on to the more premium block, which is stack 5 and 6. Same thing, at stack 6 itself, anything that is above level 6, you actually get a 4-bedder instead of a 3-bedder at the lower floor.
Yeah, so just now we did mention that this development focuses a lot on like the smaller unit type. So I think this is what you can probably see.
The smaller unit type, all on 6C lah.
Yes, and except for the stack 3.
That's a compact size also.
Exactly.
So they do give some good flexibility. A little bit confusing, but not to worry. As you come down to the show flat, we'll be able to explain more to you.
Yes.
Okay, so before we move on to the floor plan analysis, let's take a look at some of the perspectives that we have prepared for you on the slideshow. So let's go. And we are going to come into floor plans wise. As we have mentioned earlier on, the layout, there are quite a various few, but we're not going to go through all today.
Correct. Because like we just now from the elevation chart, we can see that, so maybe like the 4-bedders, there's only like 1 stack. Yeah, so that one we'll go through it. But I think what we would like to show you, these are technically all the different floor plans, but we'll just go through like what we think is important to know. And the main one that you should actually take a look at.
Okay, so Kayla will start off with the 1-bedder, which is 1 full stack of it.
So this is at stack 4 itself. It is a 495 square feet. So do note that this whole project is non-harmonized, which also means that AC latched, it is still considered within your floor area. Okay, so if like a 495, probably in the current harmonized days is going to be about like what, 450?
450 because
square
3 square meter.
It is coming in from here. There is an open concept kitchen, dining, as well as a 2.9 living space.
Oh, this is quite rare actually for 1-bedder to get a 2.9
Exactly.
meters.
Usually it is like 2.8. In fact, some of the developments could be 2.7, 2.8. Yeah, so I think this itself, it doesn't make you feel that claustrophobic, to be honest. With a 5 square meter balcony, this is a good size. It is in fact quite a normal size. But one thing to also note that they actually do come with a house shelter. I'm not sure about house shelter in a small unit because we know that in a small unit, sometimes having a house shelter may kind of like be a bit of a double-edged sword.
I had one unit that has there's a 1-bedder with a home shelter.
Okay.
It doesn't feel so cramped actually, and in fact, you know why? Because a lot of the staff, they actually hide it inside the home shelter.
I see.
So it becomes a storage space for you. Some of the bulky items you still can store it inside the home shelter. So
coming from this house shelter, we do have a Jack and Jill bathroom, which is actually serving both the master bedroom and for the common itself. Okay, so for this 1-bedroom master bedroom, it is about like 10 square meter.
Okay lah.
Queen size bed.
As we zoom in a little bit more, probably you can see that we may or may not be able to put a side table by
2. I think you can put 1. not two. For sure not two.
This one cannot put already cannot open the wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Unless they do the sliding ones.
Yeah, sliding ones. But one thing I really like about this one bedder layout, not saying that it's good or bad, but I like it because they actually have a natural ventilation in the toilet. Because a lot of one bedder or even two bedders out there, you do not get this kind of natural ventilation, a window for your toilet.
Yeah.
Okay, but because as I mentioned earlier on, it's a point block, so every unit are at this corner, so you do get the luxury of having the window over there.
That's a very good point.
Okay. So let's move on to
the two bedders. Okay, so the two bedders, we will show you two types of 2-bed, 2-bath. The difference actually mainly lies in the kitchen itself. Okay, so we'll just run through the first one, 797 square feet. Remember, this is a non-harmonized project. Okay, so when you come in, it will be welcomed by this open concept kitchen. L-shape. I do like an L-shape open concept kitchen because when you start preparing your food, right, it is a bit more ergonomic. Because the fridge is here, you can take your food out and place it here. You can start cutting, and then you can
so it's very good flow lah.
Correct. The flow is just very, very smooth.
Right.
Okay. And then smartly enough, like we mentioned, the width of the whole living is about 3 meters, which again is very big. Because
some of the 3-bedders you only get 3 meters.
Exactly. Right? And then the dining space is also a pretty good space. So I quite like this whole the smoothness of this whole area.
Yep.
So of course we do have like the 2 bedrooms, but I think for bedroom 2 at 8 square meter might feel a little tighter, as you can clearly tell from here. Okay, so there is this part that we are looking at. This is not bay window or any of those. Okay, we are not in that era anymore. So it is more like a window frame, whereby, it is just about slightly 1 cm to 2 cm raised because of the frame to handle the weight of the window itself. Yeah, so if you were to put like a side table here, you might need to choose the right one, a bit more solid wood so that it's stable. Otherwise, it will be a bit lopsided. Yeah, so I think that is something to note because of an 8 square meter. But of course, if you choose to convert this just into a study room, right, I think this is not a problem at all.
Okay, I think there's also a flexibility because this project itself is a cast in situ project, meaning to say they do not prefabricate the whole structure over. And so that also gives you the flexibility where some of the walls can be hacked. So if budget allows, maybe some of you will actually combine this whole room into one big master room because you can hack this away. Of course, leaving the entrance for your bomb shelter lah. So we're going to draw it like that. So it's very nice because you can have a whole walk-in wardrobe come study area, and then you still have a huge master area. So because of that method of building, you actually get this flexibility to hack away the wall. And again, I think we got the window.
So the windows actually is at both the common bath as well as the master bath itself.
Perfect. There's a CW over there. CW stands for cavity wall. So what exactly it is, come down to the show flat and you will take a look at that. And it's in fact part of your gross floor area as well. It's just a window that is being indented inside lah. Or then unfortunately or fortunately you have that. Depends on how you look at it. Home shelter also for a 2-bedder. For your storage. That's good.
Okay, so between this 797 square feet and the next version, which is 861, okay, so the main difference will definitely lies in an enclosed kitchen. So the previous one that we saw, it is an L-shaped open kitchen, and you get a bigger living space.
Even bigger, 3.4. This is fantastic. I feel this is really great. You know why? Because for these 2-bedder, right, it is actually from level 3 to level 9. Anything that is above level 9 from level 10 onwards, you actually get it as a 3-bedder compact. Now, this void space over here in the 2 premium context, you are not having it inside your GFA. These are actually void area. But from level 10 onwards and above, right, you actually get an additional room here. So this is almost like buying like a 3-bedder layout. But although you got 2 rooms, that's why you actually have a very wide 3.4 meter living dining
That's
space.
actually very generous. And it's also quite smart for the developer to do this though.
Yep. And again, also we got this flexibility to hack down the walls if you like. And again, natural ventilated toilets. In fact, 2 windows in the master toilet. And I love the size of this room. 14 square meters, total of about 4 meters left to right. You get that perfect space.
So in fact, you can see
Baby
that.
cot can put here also.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's also the 2-side table without even touching that extra window frame that we mentioned earlier.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to move on to our show unit type. If you're going to come down to the show flat, well, to be honest, I've been there already.
Yeah. How was it?
A little bit disappointed.
Why?
It's for you to find out. So you come and take a look at our show flat. Okay,
so
let's analyze this.
Yeah, so this is 3-bedder premium. There are actually 3 or 4 3-bedders, but we'll just zoom into this. Okay, so it is a 1087 square feet. So pretty good size. So of course, when you come in from the door itself, you will be welcomed by a big spacious dining area. So I quite like this because I like to entertain, right? And so I need space where my friends, my family can actually come in. So it's very rare to see such a layout whereby, you get a really good size dining. Most of the time you come in, it's always like, it's all in a vertical form. Your dining will be here and your living would be on this area. So
okay, this is not the disappointing part because I feel this is actually a very good plus point.
I know which one already.
As you come in, right, it feels very wide. I think this is good.
Yes.
But there are other parts that I really...
I think I know. Is it this TV part? Because you like to watch TV.
Yeah. I like to watch TV lah, but
I mean, from the look of it, maybe 50
I can only fit in
inch.
I think 50 inch.
Yeah. Oh. So this part that Bendy is mentioning, it is
the wall is
more like
short.
short one. So it is a bit compromised maybe. So people who actually love a bigger dining space, a spacious one, might actually like this kind of layout. Yeah. And then they have a really long balcony, but a little shorter.
Yeah.
A little short.
They extended it out lah. So rather than forward.
Would they be able to put in like a dining table?
I don't think so. 1.3 meter is quite tough because dining table is about 90, right? After adding in 2 chairs, probably you need at least 1.5, 1.7 meters.
I guess that's when they try to focus everything on this dining.
Another way how you can do this is actually, because this is a third bedroom and this wall can actually be hacked down. Well, if you do not require a proper third bedroom, okay, that's what people can do. They can hack this down. And maybe you create a small study area here, right? And this is the entrance. So it then actually extends your whole dining area to even bigger space.
Wow, that would be really, really nice actually.
Yeah. Okay, I think...
and also not forgetting, for a 3-bedder here, you do get a wet and dry kitchen. Again, it's very rare, right? And on top of that, 5 square meter for dry and 6 square meter for wet. It is a very good size.
Okay, reasonable.
Right? Of course, not forgetting home shelter and a WC. I think these are the essentials that we are looking at.
But how about the master room? I think it's really quite huge.
Oh yes, definitely. 17 square meter. It's crazy because you see this bed itself, it's a king size bed with 2 side tables and almost seemingly like a walk-in wardrobe on this side.
That's about 5.1 meters.
Yeah,
wow.
You hardly find such a big one. Usually you find this on a 4-bedroom itself, I would say.
Good wardrobe space also.
Yeah, and also I think I just want to bring attention to the common bathroom because it is a Jack and Jill toilet. So bedroom 2 is an ensuite to this toilet as well as having a common. So I think it is quite good.
Livable lah. Okay, let's take a look at the 4-bedder. 4-bedder, this one is with the private lift at 1389 square feet. Private lift comes from here. So the moment you enter, the lift lobby is part of your GFA already. Yeah. Okay, so I feel it's a little bit too big. 5 square meter, almost like a kitchen size. Right?
Balcony size also.
Yeah, of a balcony size also. So I think this is a little bit wasted because you are spending money, at least 150,000 over here already. Okay, and as you come in, we have junior ensuite that is on your left side. This is no complaints. We got 11 square meter. We got an attached bath with a window, perfect. And I love the fact that we got a 5.2 meters wall-to-wall living dining. This is really fantastic. I really love this. This is
almost like just now the 3-bedders master bedroom with wow.
Yeah, so can you imagine that master bedroom? How big it is?
How generous in terms of space.
But really. Come on.
Not compromise then.
Look at this, Kayla. The private lift lobby size is the same as the kitchen size, which is 5 square meters. So I think for a 4-bedder to have this kind of wet kitchen size is really a little bit disappointing as well.
Yeah.
So give and take. The good thing is, of course, you still get a very nice 7 square meter dry kitchen. You have a dishwasher being provided. The fridge is outside. I personally find that this is also a little bit inconvenient lah. I take out my food from the dry kitchen, then I have to go back into the wet kitchen again for my washing. So, this 4-bedder, I'm sorry, I don't think I will choose this layout Probably there are better layouts out there.
I guess, but okay, I think we do notice that, okay, this is actually the door to the common lift itself. So there are also some space over here. So I think we could, rack it up with some shelvings or things like that, so that, maybe the process of cooking, food preparation could be handled a little more efficiently. That's how I would see this space here. If not, it's a little wasted as well.
Yep. Okay. And the rest of the rooms, we're just going to run through it very quickly. I think it's pretty normal, 9, 9, 14.
I'm not so sure about the master bedroom being 14 though.
Because of the width lah. About 2.7 is a little bit too small.
Yeah, because
if we compare to the 3-bedder, the width of the 3-bedder was about 3 meters, right? Yes, 3 meters, 3.2.
3.2, exactly. And this one, you can see that this one still have some space within the side table and the bed.
And
but the
4-bedder gives you 2.75, a little shy of 2.8. I think, again, quite disappointing also.
And also, you see, this is only just one rack versus the other one was an L-shaped rack. I mean,
lesser wardrobe space.
For sure, because women, right, we definitely have so much clothes and things that we want to share.
Okay, we hope the developer don't come and look for us. We are just giving our honest comment and feedback. Nothing wrong, okay?
Nothing wrong.
So next up, we're going to look at potentially
what the potential pricing going to be.
How much it will be selling.
So for us to understand how the pricing going to be, let's just look at the land cost, because this is the cost price, right? Okay, so we are looking at the cost price, or rather the break-even cost of about $2,362. Assuming that the developer make a profit of 15%, okay, we are looking at a cost of about 2,716 PSF. Okay, and then if they make a
20%?
profit of 20% exactly.
Sometimes 15, sometimes 20 lah. They greedy, then they earn 20 lah.
2,834 PSF. So actually, I think with these two numbers for PSF, it is considerably quite okay in this current market where ORI is already transacting at 2,008 to 3,000 PSF for a leasehold 99-year at Toa Payoh.
That's if 20% lah. If developer charge 40%,
Wow, 40%.
40%, let's see how much it is. 40% still can buy or not, to be honest.
40%.
3,300.
3,306 PSF. Okay, maybe later we can share some compets on the surrounding to understand what is a number for us to actually go in and for us to know.
But you know what? Even though we look at the break-even cost for Arina East is about 2,300, just about last month, we actually have a plot of land in District 16, which is further away from town area, in the Bayshore area. Look at that. This is actually the highest record land price in the outer core region of Singapore. Okay, we are looking at 1,388 PSF in terms of the per plot ratio, meaning to say this is only the land price. And if developer were to add in all the construction cost, marketing cost, easily this project that is right above the Bayshore MRT station is going to sell at least up 2,800 PSF. And this is further away from town. This is actually a 99 years leasehold. Yes, a whole new township is coming up, but apart from that, there's no amenities at all. It is going to be quite crazy if we are looking at a 28XX. So earlier on, we talked about if developer is going to earn that 20% at 2,008 PSF, a freehold beside MRT nearer to town in Prime District 15. I think is really, really very reasonable. As of filming today, we still do not have the indicative price, but let's hope it's around the 2,009 to 3,000. Then it's going to be a very correct price to enter.
So I think just now I did mention that we want to also take a look at a couple of projects that is around here and to see whether is it a 2008 or is it a 3000 or is it even buying into a 3003 PSF makes sense. Okay, so maybe we can take a few like Arina East, which is actually launched in 1998. It is just opposite Arina East. And then we can take a look at Fort Garden. Fort Garden is older than Arina East, 1993.
So in order for us to show you whether we are entering at a correct price or not, we are going to use a very powerful tech tool that we have in PropNext to show you the live transaction. Okay, so I'm going to do a demonstration. We're going to do a live demonstration to show you. So earlier on, we picked two projects which is just opposite of Arina East, namely the Emerald East. Okay, first one. Alright, and this is actually a 1999 project. It's freehold as well. So quite similar traits. Same plot ratio of 2.1. Okay. And then let's take a look at the sales transaction in this area. We are looking at an average price of 1746.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so how we're going to calculate here is that we're going to take the age of Emerald East, which is launched in 1999. Up to today, it's 26 years.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and 26 years itself, if we're going to take average PSF of about $50 to $60 per year, that would actually be about 1,300. Okay, we do a lease top up of 1,300.
Yep.
And adding on to the average price of 1,746. After adding it together, we actually have it at 3046
PSF.
PSF.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be the true value of Arina East.
Correct.
If we're going to use Emerald East as a demonstration. So in order to have a fairer approach, we're going to take the second project. So what was the project? Fort Garden. Okay.
19...
EARDEN. We're going to do live. In case you say we cherry pick, it's here. Fort Gardens. Okay, so Fort Gardens was TOP in 1993. This is about 1993, 32 years. 32 years. Again, we take about 50 PSF.
Yep.
Let's multiply 32 times 50. That's 1,006. Adding on to the average PSF right now of about 1,009.
Wow.
That's 3,000.
A whopping 3,500.
Okay, let's be fair. We look at the recent transaction, 6 months transaction, which is a little bit higher. In fact, 1,944. Then it brings up a top-up lease of to
3,005 PSF.
In fact, if Arina East is going to launch at 2008, I think it's going to be a steal.
It is a steal, and also to not forgetting for Fort Garden, one Fort, they are also facing the main traffic, the main road.
Right.
So you do get a lot of noise as well as west sun. Because for this this project along the main road, is either you get east facing or the west facing. So for Arina East, it is tucked at least in the cul-de-sac. So in terms of noise, you definitely will be much quieter. In terms of the facing, they're also kind of slanted it such that you don't get a full east or full west. So everything is a bit like northeast, northwest, southwest. So in conclusion, if the developer's pricing is around like 2,008 to 3,000, I think it is a steal.
Yeah.
I think it is a steal that you should just go for it. Because number one, you're not overpaying for sure. Number two, based on the transactions within this the areas around here, I think, yeah, it is a good entry point. However, if it reaches until like 3,003, 3,005, what would you actually...
I think there are better projects out there.
Exactly. Perhaps you can look into the Mayor area, in fact.
Yeah.
Mayor Blue, that is still in the market. I think you still can get something there.
So if you do require deeper analysis, do contact any one of us and we are able to just bring out our tech tools to show you exactly whether are you entering at the correct pricing or not. Okay, so with that, this is the end of our project analysis for Arina East
Residences.
Yeah, once again, if you like our content, please just give us a thumbs up and also share the content. If you'd like to take a look at the show flats, it's going to be available very soon. In fact, it's going to be a very convenient place.
Yes.
So reach out to us. We're going to bring you down to the show flat and take a look. And also take a look at some of the other potential projects that you may want to consider.
Yes.
Okay, so if not, we're going to see you in the next project analysis video. So,
all else in the show flat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.